Hello everyone, in this video we will discuss about the view. How can we add the view in ASP.NET Core MVC, what is the layout, and how we can add the model in ASP.NET Core MVC, and the interesting Razor engine view we will see in this video. In one of the video I explained you about the controller. So I explained about what is this segment of the URL. This is the controller and this is the action method. So if you see the code here, this is the action method where we are returning something into the JSON. So if you run this project, so here I need to pass controller name and action method. So it will render the JSON object. So to return the views in form of the HTML. So if you see, we have some existing views like index is the view. If you see the view, this is the HTML. So here in the controller we need to change the return type view result, and instead of the JSON we need to write view. Now you can see this is the action method, and action method return the view. We need to create the view. So how can we create the view? Let's see. This is the welcome. So you can see the difference here. This method having the different return type action result. So if you want to see why this is different, so if you go inside the view result, you can see the difference here. This is inherited with the action result interface. So that's why you can see the action result here. So we can use the same interface here. And now we can create the welcome view. So go inside the view on associated folder. This should be inside the customer folder. Just right click, add view, and you can give the name welcome. And if you put something like hi, and if you want to put some HTML, you can put here hi, how, just run this one and see. I need to change the URL customer welcome. So here you can see hi, how are you? But I will explain you how the data would be rendered. Like data comes into the entity format in some object. So before moving to that, let me explain you about the layout. What is the layout in ASP.NET Core MVC? So carefully, if you see, we have a common layout, like header and footer we have common. Only the content page is getting changed. If you click on any URL, any menu, so only the content page, middle page will be changed. So how it's happening? If you go inside the shared folder, so we have one HTML file underscore layout. So actually this is the common page. If you have worked on master page in the Visual Studio, so that is the same concept. We have the fixed header and footer, only the child element would be changed. So we have the render body method. So whatever the request comes through the controller, only the related view would be rendered here. So this is the layout. The layout typically includes common user interface element such as the app header, navigation, or menu elements and footer. The default layout for an ASP.NET Core app is named underscore layout.cshtml. So this is the default layout with this name here. We can create more layout pages. Like I can create one more layout and I can change the layout what layout should be default layout, I can decide into this class view start. In the view start you can see layout is there, layout name is there. So this is the default layout. So this is the default layout. I can change here into the underscore view start. And sometime it can happen like we don't need any header and footer for the page, for the view. Suppose I want to create the view inside the home, I can remove the layout page. Here if you see, if I click on Razor View, add, here it will ask me use a layout page. So I can uncheck it, and if I click on this one page will be created. So here you can see layout equals to null. For this view, layout would not be applicable. This is the way how we can remove the layout page from view in MVC. You can face this question into the interview, how to remove layout page from view in MVC. So this is the layout property into the Razor View. Let me explain what is the Razor View. What is the Razor? Razor is a general purpose templating engine. You can call it Razor View engine that generates output like HTML. In simple words, I can say Razor is a template markup syntax that lets you embed server-side based code into web pages. Like if you see, Razor syntax to bind data to your markup. Here, this is the way we need to use the @ sign, and after @ sign, we can call the server-side objects here. So this model is the server-side object, and it has the property customer name. So Razor View will render all this server-side data into the HTML. And if you want to put more complex server-side code, you can put. Let me show. Here you can see I added the for each loop that calling the model. So @ sign is first, then you can start bracket and you can end the bracket, and inside the bracket you can put the HTML. In HTML you can put the property, object property. Here we can see the difference between Razor View engine and aspx view engine. In Razor View engine we use the namespace system.web.razor, and in aspx view engine we use system.web.mvc.waveform view engine. And Razor does not require the code block to be closed, but in aspx web page form view engine requires the code block to be closed. Razor uses @* and * for multiple comments. Here between these two we can put the multiple comments, and in the aspx view engine we use this symbol, and in this syntax we can put multiple comments. And file extension is CSHTML for C# and VBHTML with VB for views. And in aspx we have the extension aspx. So this is the difference between Razor View engine and aspx view engine. Now I think your concept is clear about the Razor. So we will be using the Razor into the view. How can we use the Razor in view? Let me explain you. To achieve this, let's create the model first. So how can we create the model? To create the model, go into the model folder and right click, add, new item, and take a class like customer. In the customer class I can put some properties like public integer, public name, public, I can say string, and email. So therefore we can create the multiple properties for a class inside the class. This is the customer model, and we will assign the data into the model and we'll pass to the view. So let's go inside the customer controller, and in view let me do one thing. let me create the instance of this class. So it will give the error here. If you just hold some time, it will give one arrow, and you can select the namespace, whatever namespace you want. So what is the related namespace you can add here? This is the namespace. I need to add this one. Click on this, so it would be added here. Now create the instance of this class. Customer equals to new. Okay, so class has been created, and let's assign the value like id equals to 1. Customer dot name equals to Sachin. I'm just giving the name, and customer dot email equals to Sachin at @gmail.com. Now how you need to pass? You can pass the object inside the view. So this model has been created and we have passed this model to the view. Now do one thing, go inside the customer. Let me close this one. I will create the view using the model. Let me delete this one. Now right click here and say add view. Select the razor view, click add. By this way the view name would be appeared here. So this is the view name, and in the template means you need to update something, or you need to show the details. So I need to show the details. I can select the details, and details with which model. So I can pass the related model. So customer is the model. I can select this one. I hope this is clear. I'm just selecting the template. In the HTML what I need to do, I just need to display the value. So I selected the details, and which value I need to display. I need to display the customer values. So this value, if you see, this is the one model I have generated. I need to display this values. So after selecting model class, click on add. So model has been created now inside the customer, you can see, and you can see the view here. By mistake I selected the layout null, so let me remove this one. Now here the thing you need to understand, you need to give this attribute model @model and model name, which model you want to display. So I have given the model name, so this namespace followed with the customer. If I go inside the customer, so this is the namespace and this is the class. So same I need to put here, namespace and class. And the important thing here, I need to display the values. This is the way to display the value. @html.displayName for model equals to model. This is the lambda expression, model.id. So id would be appeared here, then name and similar email. All this thing will be appeared here with this. So this is the syntax to display the value, and I can follow one more syntax, like if I just need to display the value here after the customer, I can do, I have one more way. I can use the model dot name. So this is also one way. So let me run this program and let me put the correct URL, customer name. So here you can see by default I did remove this one and run the page, change the URL here. Yes, so here you can see customer, then model name dot name. The razor view engine will print the value from the model, and all these values coming from the model. whatever we passed into the controller here. So controller can pass this model to the view from here, and this model will be rendered into the view. So this is the way to use the views into the ASP.NET MVC. I hope this is clear. We easily added the view and rendered the model into the view. So I will see you soon in the next video. Happy learning.